I said on last week's pod that if we were down 40-0 at halftime, we need to have some hard conversations. Turns out we were down 38-7. Let's talk about it, guys.
This is Voice of the Bus, Mark Johnson, and you're listening to the Folsom Frenzy Podcast.
All right, guys. Welcome to the pod. It's Sreyas here. I'm here with Topher and Chase. Jake, once again, out on personal business. And you know what? At some point, he's just dodging the smoke. He's just missing all the hard episodes now.
I think it's pretty cool that our podcast offers paternity leave, apparently.
Yeah.
Or at least for Jake.
It's definitely unpaid, though. I don't think anyone's given salary. So, hey, the three of us were at the game and actually saw Paul yesterday, too. Or am I referring to him as Jake? Either way, he's not here to defend himself. So I did get to see all you guys yesterday. So that was nice. And before we talk about the game, let me just talk about how nice that is. Like homecoming, the good part of it is just seeing your friends, especially like people who you haven't seen in a while. Like Chase, I see you a couple times a year, you know? And at least with Jake, I get to play golf with him, and then I go to these games with Topher, almost all of them. So it's just nice, you know? It's just good. It's good. This is what it's all about, you know? Let's have some good vibes. How do you guys feel? Like, other than the game, there's got to be some positives, right? How's your trip back to Colorado, Chase?
Back to Georgia. Well, I did take my dad to the game yesterday for his birthday, and that's got to be the worst birthday gift I've ever given anyone, ever.
Happy birthday.
But we're being optimistic. So it was great to see everyone. The weather was phenomenal, I thought. It was pretty cool to see. For those that weren't in the stadium, I'm sure they showed it on TV if you were still watching and you're a glutton for punishment, when the kids started taking their shirt off and doing the rally shirt thing that started at Oklahoma State. And there was someone playing Andy Reid for Halloween, and he ended up taking her shirt off as well. So that was cool. I thought, actually, to be honest, I thought Brandy's first run was great. I think she gave up at the second half too. But giving up for her is giving up still past the 50-yard line. And her worst run last night is still better than any Ralphie Six run during her entire tenure. So,
True.
Topher, did you have any? Oh, Topher, you got to meet one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet Paul. Shout out to Paul. He was super welcoming at his tailgate, and I posted him on Instagram. He was hoping for a win. We were all hoping for a win, but clearly we did not come through. Anyways, we love the fan interaction, and Sreyas and I will be at every game, right? There's one more, I guess, this season, but if you do ever want to, get posted by us, just, tap one of us, and we'll record you, get you your shout out. That was really fun, so that was super awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're not going away.
Yeah, and we're just like guys that are fans that have been fans for a long time, so it's always cool to like meet other folks that have been kind of in a similar spot, and obviously we all have day jobs, right? So we still get excited when people recognize us and stuff like that. So
taking the group chat public, that's all this was,
Yeah.
So pleasantries aside, this was awful. This was awful. It was so awful that at the end of it, so I had to just kind of like set it all aside for the rest of the day. It's one of those, like, it's almost like a trauma response for me. Like, I realized, I think I mentioned this on a previous pod, but that UMass game where we were down double digits at halftime in 2014, there was like a part of me that died. There was just like, okay, I can no longer see a blowout like this and feel anything except numbness. And frankly, like in the 11 years that have passed since then, there have been a couple good times, right? Obviously, this is why I don't even care about people storming the field. Like, I know how bad this is. And so this was a trauma response type of game. I got home after watching the World Series, totally different discussion. Wow, that was a great sporting event. But then this morning, after sleeping it off and thinking about it, I went and consulted the spreadsheet. So that was my 110th CU football game, home, road, neutral.
Sorry.
Yeah, 110th. I can honestly say, as far as absolute drubbings, so Topher and I were just reminiscing before we started this recording on a couple of them. But the Sacramento State in 2012, where we lost in a walk-off field goal to a 6-5 FCS team, was the only game, including the game with Andrew Luck, where we lost 48-0 to Stanford. The games with Marcus Mariota multiple times, won 45-2, Another was another like 43 to something game, 50 something game. And then the one in 2019, I was at Autzen. And so we lost like 48-3 that game too. And then I was at the Washington State game in 2023 where we lost 56-14. This all together, and I was at the Utah game that year too, where we were down 42-0.5. This represented something altogether different than all of them. This was an Arizona team. So think about the context of what the Arizona athletic department is right now. They're what, $100 million in debt or something, some completely absurd amount of debt. They were ready to run Brent Brennan out the door after last season. They had 3 pretty nondescript non-conference wins this year. Only 1 conference win so far. And sure, they came off a bye week, and everyone knows Noah Fifita has some talent. Like, he led that team to 10 wins a few years ago, or 9 or 10 wins. I think it was a 10-win team. They won their bowl game. And so obviously not, the cupboard isn't completely bare, but this is not a team that you expect to come in and pick a number, like literally pick a number. It was 52-7 with like 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Wow. Guys, like, was this the worst game that you guys have seen? I mean, this is wild to even be discussing some of the games that we're talking about in the past, but this was on par with that. Like, it was mind-boggling.
Yeah, I got to say, the worst game I've ever seen in person is still forever and always the 2016 Oklahoma State Alamo Bowl game in my mind. And that was just because we expected things. I will say, I was so excited to be in a legal sports betting state that I placed a real United States dollar wager on the Colorado Buffaloes money line. I didn't even take the 3 points. I said, I don't even need the 3 points. Well, it turns out I didn't need the 3 points because that would not have made a difference.
It would not have made a difference.
I think, and I hate to, Jake likes to pretend like he's Nostradamus, so I got to pretend a little bit too. I'm just going to keep hitting Jake with strays until he decides to come back to our podcast. But earlier this season, when we were doing predictions, and I can't remember after which game it was, but I made the comment of, I'm really worried the wheels are going to fall off. Like, if we keep losing like this, the wheels are going to fall off. And the wheels have completely fallen off. This team has quit. And I think that was most apparent. I can't remember the receiver. It wasn't JoJo Williams. Whoever, Caden Salter I think it was the first or second quarter, throws a deep ball, and it was a home run, should have been a touchdown. And I turned to Topher and I was like, he could have caught that. It looks like he was jogging there. And Topher's like, no. Caden just way overthrew it. And when you go back and watch the film, he was jogging, right? Like, this team's quit. This team has completely given up. And that reflects coaching, in my opinion, right? Like, I played on some really bad teams with Topher. Well, I don't know how much I played, but I was on a lot of really bad football teams. And we were terrible, and we knew we were terrible, and we knew that we were probably going to lose, right? You go play Valor Christian, and you know that they are going to put up a 70 piece on you. But we never quit on the team, right? Because we believed in the idea of the team, I think. I don't know. But these guys clearly have quit, and I get that. You've created college football where everyone's a mercenary, and people come in for the bag, and as soon as they don't have what they want, they're going to transfer out the next year, right? And that's just what it is, right? But it gets to a point where your team is completely given up. And I've been the only critic for a long time of Mr. Livingston on the defensive coordinator. But in my mind, obviously Pat has to go. Like, that's a foregone conclusion. Everyone says that, right? But heads need to roll at this point, right? I'm still on the prime train, and I know we'll talk about that later. And but heads need to roll because this is falling apart, and it's no longer about this season, right? This season's over. We're not making a bowl game this year. I think I'm ready to come to terms with that, right? Even as of last week, we were like, oh no, they can find a way, the easier part of the schedule. And then West Virginia beats Houston. And, I don't even know how you try to salvage something at this point. And the worst part is that CU basketball is about to start, and that's going to somehow be worse, right? Like, the light at the end of the tunnel is that it only gets worse from here. So
light at the end of the tunnel is just a train coming.
It is an actual freight train ready to completely run us over. And so I thought that was a pathetic effort across the board. And like one last comment, Topher, and I'll let you go, I swear to God. But you let Ryan Staub come in at the end of the second quarter, and then you have him hand the ball off twice when you're getting absolutely blown up at home for homecoming. You publicly you pick a team that you think you can beat, and you hail all of your alumni and say, "Come home." And that's the performance we got. I mean, this is as low as it gets. Right? That was a Carl Durrell team. And we saw a Carl Durrell team the week before. And at least we were able to tell ourselves, well, Utah's really good. Arizona is not a good team. Arizona is not a particularly good team. There's no reason we should have lost that badly against that Arizona team. But this team's quit. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Topher feels better about it than I do. I tend to doubt it.
I challenge the sentiment that this team has quit. And here's why. We had how many turnovers?
A billion,
right? Who made the tackle in every single one of them?
Taufik Bayard.
It was our quarterback. Our quarterback made the tackle every time, right? That's not a quarterback that's quit, right? Caden Salter had to run to go and make that tackle. Juju had to run out there and got his ass laid out on the Sincere Brown fumble, right? Ryan Staub, he threw his second pick, knew it was going to be picked. Like, you could see his body language, like, oh, crap, and, like, was trying to get these guys, like, we got to get into coverage. And so, like, to me, that's body language of not guys that have quit, but just guys that have no direction, guys that have no identity, a team that has no belief in the coaches that are coaching them, right? They're still playing hard. They just know that what they have been taught and what they are trying to run is not working and will not work. It will not work.
That's painful. That's painful, especially when you consider how we started the season. And I get that we've lost a lot of games. So we lost a lot of games going into the bye week. But, man, we had Georgia Tech and BYU on the ropes. And I get that Georgia Tech finally lost. But those are playoff contenders. And we had them on the ropes. Like, frankly, we probably should have won both those games. Georgia Tech kind of gave us those opportunities, and we didn't take advantage of them. And we still almost pulled it, like, had a chance to pull it off in the end. And then BYU, like, that one just hurt. Like, we really should have won that game. Like, a lot of the metrics suggest that we were the better team in that particular day. But whatever's happened now is just wild. Like, I get the sentiment that there's guys in the team that are still putting in some sort of effort. I totally agree. But there seems to be some sort of elephant in the room or some sort of massive distraction that no one can quite place publicly, or no one wants to place it, so no one wants to talk about publicly or what's going on. Because some of the mistakes that we saw, guys, were mind-boggling. Like, even compared to anything that we've seen the rest of this season, when you think about mind-boggling, stupid things happening, one of the gold standards for that was in the 2012 season, when we were playing Washington. We had just gotten a first down, and we ran a QB sneak on first down. I don't know if you guys remember this, but we ran a QB sneak against Washington on 1st and 10.
I was going to my high school sophomore year homecomings, right? No one remembers
for Coach Ketron.
Yeah.
We were playing disciplined football at Douglas County High School.
Yeah, hey, Ketron had DC balling when I was there. Like, we went to 3 state championships and won 1, So anyways, not to make it about Douglas County. I know there's some fellow DC alumni out there listening. But man, how do you commit that kind of, like, mental error? That's insane. And then also, how do you get a delay of game on a PAT? What?
To be fair, to be fair,
no.
If you're gonna take a delay of game ever, the least harmful place it's gonna be is on a PAT.
I hear you.
How do you let that happen?
You can't let it happen. But of things I'm gonna waste my energy to be angry about, a delay of game on a PAT, I'm like, let Monty get the leg out, right? Like, let him swing it a little bit.
So that's a great point. In terms of outcome, that's not the worst one in the world, but in terms of process, that's one of the most embarrassing that I've seen. And then the other one was where we had to take the time out because we made a late substitution, and Arizona took advantage of it by walking a guy off the field until there was nothing left, but until there was no time left. But that's like basic
That's good
stuff.
coaching. That's great coaching.
I mean, it's hard to even say that's good coaching because it's common sense. Like, that's what you do. If you have a rule that allows you to make a substitution if the other team makes a substitution, and they make it super late, and the clock and the I almost called it shot clock, and the play clock was running out, you just walk off the field and make them burn a timeout or take a 5-yard penalty. It's common sense.
As they should.
And then Topher, the kicker of all kickers, is that illegal formation that you pointed out. It was technically an offside. How do you allow that to happen? You have 3 guys lined up 2 yards offside. How is that possible? Like, I'm just trying to think back to even like playing football, like flag football on the playground. And that was something that you even noticed, like, oh, hey, wait, the line of scrimmage is behind me. Oh, yeah, that's probably not cool. You know, I can't believe some of the stuff that we saw. Some of the penalties, the back-breaking, my God, the ineligible man downfield on the 75-yard touchdown pass. That's what killed the game. I mean, honestly, I think that the air went out. I mean, we were already getting killed, but the air just came out the sails completely after that. That was when it was like, oh, we're cooked. It's over.
That was the 9th game of the season, by the way. You're making those mistakes. That week
we're
1.
Getting worse. We're getting worse.
That happens, right? But
dude, we're getting worse. That's what's crazy. We're actually taking giant, massive steps backwards.
I will say, I'm just going to throw this out there. When you look at the statistics of the game, it is jarring how the margin of defeat was that big. When Arizona actually, I think we had, this changed, but like well into the third quarter, we were winning the time of possession battle huge, right? Like to an extent where it's like, now here's what happened, right? When you give them the ball, when Juju Lewis just says, please take the football from me at the 5-yard line, it's hard for Arizona to have a long possession before they score, right? But Noah Fafita only went 11 of 19. Now he did go for 213 yards, 4 touchdowns, right? And then you gave up 204 yards rushing, but they were essentially just running the clock nonstop. And that's another problem because you literally know that they're going to run on you, and we still couldn't stop it. But overall, like, that's what's the most jarring to me is that's execution. Like, how do you lose that big but not give up statistics, right? Because when we lost to Utah, we gave up 400 something yards rushing. Okay, fine. Yeah, you're going to get blown out that way. But in this game, it was you gave up big kick returns, you turn the ball over in your own half of the field constantly, you don't execute, you give up penalty yardage, you like the interception. Obviously the game was over already at that point, but the interception getting overturned by a really stupid penalty, right? Like the deep
roughing the passer.
A selfish penalty, which it was kind of a tic-tac, but whatever. And then, if I remember correctly, one of our deep passes gets killed by a pass interference or an illegal formation. Yeah.
Yep. Well, ineligible receiver downfield, and the reason it's ineligible receiver downfield is because Marion Miller lined up on the line, and so did Sincere Brown. Like, this is day one. This is my rant about Pat Shurmur. This is day one wide receiver stuff. I vividly remember this from Coach Butch Bradley my freshman year of high school. Day one, he said, hey, every single play, you ask the ref, am I on the line or off the line? You got to clarify, because it's your job as the X receiver. If the formation's wrong, you fix it, and you have to clarify with the ref. If you're the outermost receiver and you know the slot receiver needs to go on a route, get off the line. You can't cover him. That's Sincere's job. Or you have to yell at Omarion Miller to get off the line. This is so simple. But the fact that we've come out in this formation, and we came out in this formation last week, and it was also screwed up then, like, how are we not fixing it? Are we not watching film? What are we doing here? This is horrible coaching. Horrible coaching.
Where are my dogs at? Where are my alphas? Where are my leaders?
Not in the coaching room. They're not in the coaching room, I promise you that.
I don't think they're anywhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found.
Coach Prime knows, according to his press conference, right? And I'm going to give him a hard time for this because this is a ridiculous thing to say at a press conference. He knows what needs to be fixed, and he's going to fix it. But he won't tell you what it is. And he's not going to change the coaching positions because an announcement should have been made already. And so I'm curious to see what's going to change. I'm also bummed we didn't get to see Jordan Seaton play wide receiver, which is what was promised. But it's a lot of words and not a lot of.
Let's dive in on the press conference. Let's dive in on that press conference real quick. It was interesting, not necessarily in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way. It was just interesting, right? Because he said if he knew what he needed to do to fix it, he would have done it before the game. But then also, it was, to me, what he was there, it was kind of like coded language where he was like, I know what I'm going to do next. And to me, like, reading between the lines, there is going to be personnel turnover, but maybe he's going to wait until the offseason to do it, to allow kids an opportunity.
That would be
to
wrong.
Yeah, it's not right. And the thing is, it's like they demoted Sean Lewis a couple of years ago, and Sean Lewis was also, I mean, he was coming off of at least 3 or 4 consecutive terrible games, and so they gave Pat Shurmur the job. And now looking back on it, my God, did Shedeur and Travis cover up some serious problems? Oh my goodness, on both sides of the ball, and then even like linebackers like Nakai Hill-Green and Levante Bentley. Oh, wow. What? Oh my God.
If nothing else, this season has been very vindicating for Travis Hunter's Heisman campaign, where everyone was like, he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. I think we could pretty confidently say he deserved it. And I think I saw a tweet. It was like, you know what? Maybe Colorado should have retired Shedor's number because really quick, I'm just going to throw these stats out there because we're now 10 games in the season. Passing yards, Colorado, 97th in the country. Rushing yards, 101st in the country. Points for, 110th in the country. Points against, 107th in the country. That is G5 level performance, right? Like definitively, just objectively speaking.
Low G5.
It's a bad G5 team. It's a bad G5.
That's Colorado State performance right there.
Yeah, no, but actually, I bet you if you look at the rankings, CSU is probably with us.
Right in that ballpark.
But that's across the board, right? That's not just offense. I know 3 of those statistics were offense, but points against 107th. Now that's a little bit inflated by these 2 absolute drubbings, right? But like, this is where we were 5 years ago. Like, we could have recorded this exact podcast during Carl Durrell's tenure. We could have recorded this exact podcast during a lot of Mike McIntyre's tenure. Probably would have been better during Mike McIntyre's tenure. We probably could not have recorded this podcast during John Embry's tenure because we were actually worse. Like, we were legitimately worse under John Embry. But wow, like it's so disappointing. And I think I'm optimistic that it will turn around. But boy, I mean, you're right, Sreyas. It is very easy to go all of this progress, and yet here we are in the exact same place.
A couple other things I want to point out before I forget too. Back-breaking plays in the first quarter. Crazy missed tackle on that second play that resulted in a touchdown. And then the 2 DBs that ran into each other. Or was it a linebacker and DB running into each other?
It was a safety. It was a safety and a nickel.
What? I mean, what do you even say about that? That's not football.
Livingston, stop calling man. That's what you have to say about that. And on the missed tackles, you need Tawfiq Byard to be in a better alignment at the start of the play. We were outnumbered from the start of the play. It was a 3-on-2 on the edge. So, like, we were outnumbered, and then he made some people miss. This is just bad football, right? Like, what I love about sports is game film is an open test. You just got to study, and you have to know how to study. And unfortunately, based on the results and based on the fact that, like, even just casual fans sitting in the stands can go, oh, I bet we're going to run an inside zone here. Oh, I bet we're going to run all hitches here. And they can just call it every time. Is so bad. It's so embarrassing. It's just such an unserious program for a Division I level.
Like I said, part of me died during that UMass game in 2014. And so I usually get out my handful of frustrating moments where I'll yell at the field in the first quarter. And after that, I think, it was after the delay game on the PAT. I screamed, "Are we playing football?" Is this football? Do we know how to play this game? Are we even playing football? I know I saw some people turn their heads when I screamed that, but like, what transpired did not resemble the game of football.
To be clear, my semi-pro team can still get out a PAT before the play clock runs out without taking delay game, and we have a different PAT team every single game.
To be fair, I understand why they were not prepared to go out and kick a PAT, because if I had watched that offensive performance, I would have thought I had the night off as well. They were probably so astonished. I would not have practiced during the week. I would have been like, there's no way. This team can't score points.
And I think most disturbing of all is that this is not the first time it happened, right? Was it against Utah where we took that penalty in the goal line? Yeah, it was Utah, right? Where we scored in the third or fourth quarter. And all they had to do was
we couldn't get a QB sneak play call in because Pat Shermer doesn't know how to call a play.
How is Pat Shermer a multiple-time NFL head coach? I don't understand.
We are paying this man actual money to teach people to line incorrectly every play.
I'm speechless.
On the bright side, there was some flashes from Juju that game. He actually got to play. He had some nice. He definitely can make things happen with his feet, right? I don't think that was an actual play call, but I think he improvised and he looked good. And I do appreciate and I totally understand why Coach Prime wants to protect him and make sure that he's getting opportunities that are in winning positions. But that was, in my mind, he was still 9 of 17, 1 touchdown, right? And he still looks, in my opinion, kind of small. But I thought he played well, all things considered. And
he was our best quarterback by far.
So that was promising in my mind. At least we got to see that. And I want to give him a shout out. Jordan Seaton, the game was over at that point. Second quarter's about to end. Staub comes out. I know that Staub's a team favorite. Jordan Seaton was legitimately hype and trying to hype up the O-line as Staub was coming out for a drive that ended up being ultimately meaningless because then we immediately ran 2 run plays. But that the youth on this team is exciting. Although I guess at this point Jordan Seaton's already a true sophomore, right? So he's probably only got 1 more year. But
one more.
I do appreciate that. I do think that there is some sparks there, even in some really bad situations. And for the fans that stay, I think we deserve that. And I took a video of it. Maybe I'll post it on X. But the number of people that stuck around through the whole halftime show just to watch Ralphie run again and then immediately went for the exits.
Immediately.
Unbelievable. And I get it. It's Halloween weekend. The students want to go out, whatever, right? We've been there. Yeah, for sure. But
this team didn't deserve the attention of the students in the second half.
No.
And that's a shame. Because the students deserve better than that. But I don't know. I mean, at some point we're just talking ourselves in circles. I guess while I'm trying to be optimistic, should we do our QWealthManagement.com? Go to QWealthManagement.com to learn more players of the game. There's our little ad read. If you want to get some professional financial management with people that know the buffs as well, at least as the average podcaster on our podcast, I think I could say. Clearly, we don't get actual ad reads. We just kind of ad lib these every time. Go to QWealthManagement.com to learn more. On offense,
why didn't you put Ryan Stop?
I'm not going to read that because I disagree with that. Maybe we didn't update this.
Wait, no, this is not updated. This is from Delaware.
All right. Well, everyone go to QWealthManagement.com to learn more. We're not going to fix or maybe they will, but I think we were kind of between.
Wait, Ryan Staub, 0 for 2 with 2 picks was the offensive player.
We're going to change the QWealth Management to the QWealth Management worst players of the game. But if I remember correctly, we picked Juju Lewis. Yeah, reading that is just Juju Lewis or Omarion Miller, and I think that's a little controversial, so we'll come back to that. And then I don't even know if we did a special teams one. Maybe Alejandro Mata because I wore his jersey.
No, but also
and he's in a record book. He's in the record book, baby. Consecutive PATs, baby.
That's actually dope. So congratulations. And then on defense, our guy Sean Myers. Who actually had a pretty good game. And I have it in my head that he's a walk-on. I don't know if that's actually true. I think I convinced myself of that at the game, but Sreyas, you would know better than me.
I don't know.
But
seems like he might be.
Anyway, not a whole lot to pick from our QL management players of the game. As always, thank you to QL management, and go check them out online. Topher, you felt very strongly that Omarion Miller should not be our offensive player of the game. So strongly that we actually accidentally made Ryan Staub our offensive player of the game. You want to explain
that? I think both of Staub's picks were Omarion's fault. So on the first one, he ran a hitch. And when you run a hitch, you have to make the DB turn his hips so they can't just break on the ball. And you do that by you have to sell that you're running deep. If you slow down before the break, they're going to know, oh, he's not going deep. I don't have to break my hips. And that's exactly what he did, right? Did Ryan Staub definitely stare down that target? 1,000%. He knew exactly who he was throwing to before he snapped the ball. Did Omarion Miller run a good enough route to get open? Nope. So that sucks. And then on his second one, where it looked like Ryan Staub just threw it straight to a safety, and everyone in the stadium is kind of like, what the hell did we just watch? Omarion Miller was supposed to run a post, and he got redirected by the nickel, and the nickel kind of shucked him, and you could argue maybe it was illegal contact. But what I was frustrated with is, as a receiver, I was taught when you get hit, you play through the contact, right? If they bump you off the line and you keep running, refs are more likely to give you the flag then. But he got bumped off and was flailing his arms and trying to draw the flag that way, and the ref looked at him and thought yeah, you're a bitch, right? Hit the weight room. He didn't hit you that hard. And Ryan Staub ended up floating it right to the safety. That's where Omarion was supposed to be cutting in front of. I can't give a QL management player of the game to someone that doesn't play team football, which means know your role, get off the line on the illegal formation or the illegal man downfield, and run through contact. You're a very talented receiver, but you have to do the little things in order to be great.
And I got to correct it. Earlier, I defamed JoJo Williams inadvertently. It was actually Sincere Brown who gave up on that route, the deep ball. So that's what I'm talking about. Topher's it's the coaching. I think some of these players are not
Can
exactly.
Can I defend Sincere Brown on this one?
He was literally jogging.
He was literally jogging. Okay,
it was
great. It was on film. That first one, he was jogging, right? And the reason he was jogging is because I don't think he knew he was the designated receiver, because the read was, if it's a cover 2 and the corner comes down on the flat, there's a hole shot that I can take right away. And he didn't know. And they corrected it the second time. That long touchdown that got called back was the same play against the same coverage. And he took off right away. That's the difference. That's coaching. That's adjustment. We just didn't adjust with not having an illegal man downfield.
Sounds like Pat Shurmur might be a genius based on what Topher just said. So, there's always...
I think it was Salter that told him, hey, man, you got to take off. When you see that corner, just sit there. You got to take off.
And I got to say, when Salter throws that boon shot ball, I mean, Caden Salter truly is the Russell Wilson on the Broncos experience. It truly... It almost in literally every way, right? Occasionally he throws a moon ball that makes you believe, and otherwise every day is the worst day of your entire life.
He's not Mr. Unlimited. He's Mr. Limited.
Yeah. So anyway,
here's another interesting thing that I don't think any of us have mentioned, and we haven't frankly talked about this enough all season, but our depth is abysmal, and the number of injuries we've sustained is insane. There comes a point where you start to wonder whether the strength and conditioning is adequate. Obviously, injuries happen in this game. It's never going to be a football team that doesn't undergo some level of injury, some of which are serious. It's obviously a very physical sport. But Brian Howell, before the game, had tweeted this, and this is just very telling. The Buffs are at 76 total scholarship players, and at least 17 are out for Saturday's game versus Arizona. 2 others are doubtful to play. So we're talking about 19. So what is that? 57 scholarship players to field a roster. And I think, guys, pretty early on, we were kind of starting to wonder who some of the guys were on the field. Had we seen John Slaughter play at all this season? And
I don't
I don't
even
know.
know what position he plays, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I'm about to look.
Isn't he in the
this up.
secondary? And I thought
He's
he
a
played against
safety.
Delaware.
He is a safety. Yeah. So if he played against Delaware, he came from Tennessee. It looks like he got some playing time against Utah as well. Which
Did he play against Delaware? Was I right on that?
Mm-mm.
Yikes.
Might be thinking of someone else. Anyways, like we got some serious depth issues. Like I don't want to blame that. So I don't want to blame that on what's happening, but let's think about this. It's always what's going on behind the scenes. You have your bye week and you have all these players out, many of whom aren't coming back. It's almost like similar timing to when Prime had that like transfer portal showcase thing or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a situation where you have your main guys. Obviously, we have some talent, clearly. Like if given some of the returning players from last year, and given that we were probably should have beaten Georgia Tech and BYU, or at least had an opportunity to in both those cases, and those are very talented teams. If your depth's challenged, who is sharpening your iron in practice every day? Who are you putting out there? I don't even know. Are you just throwing some kid that should be in physics lecture or in some other class? Like they should be in their psychology lecture. Like just some random kid, some frat boy. I don't know.
Hold on, because that was the role I played at Douglas County High School. And let me tell you, it's an important role, Sreyas.
Hey,
the few, the proud, the practice squad.
You're winning at life, Chase. You're not winning at life. You're a champion at life. Butch Jones is proud of you.
I want to also hype up Chase. Chase played on our kick return, and because we got scored on a bunch, he was out there a lot. Okay, and he did a great job at kick return, averaging.
And had far and away the highest number of penalties
per rep.
Plays. Yeah.
But seriously, like the depth matters in so many ways that you don't see. Like this is always the challenge with the next level of understanding football. And I'm not all the way there yet with the game myself, even as someone that watches a lot of college football and has for well over a decade, like 2 decades, we'll say, of like closely watching college football. But behind the hood of what you see in the game is 20 million things that can affect the outcome of what actually happens on Saturday. So the last 2 weeks to me seems to be a product of a lot of things. I don't want to lose sight of what's happening with their depth. I think that is a very clear contributor in some way, whether anyone wants to admit it.
So while we've been recording on this Sunday night, there's been a report that was just posted saying that Juju Lewis will be the starting quarterback, or at least is projected to be the starting quarterback against West Virginia. I don't know that that's entirely surprising. I think that's a little surprising because we've been so non-committal. Let's do the preview really quickly, and then we can talk more program-wide conversation that we're planning to do at the end. I will point out West Virginia last week, for those that don't know, went into Houston, big, bad, mighty Houston, and beat them pretty soundly, 45-35, but I don't feel like it was actually as close as the score makes it seem. And a big reason for that is, and this is going to be nightmare fuel for Colorado Buffalo fans, their freshman mobile dual threat quarterback made his debut for the team.
You're kidding.
He threw for 157 yards and 1 touchdown, but more importantly,
not like this,
ran for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns on 10 carries. And if that is not a recipe from hell for this defense, I don't know what is. I will say it's pretty embarrassing. Colorado is plus 6.5. They do not have the money line set on the app that we use for this podcast, which, by the way, we would love to have a sports betting podcast or a sports betting sponsor. So, for all of those big sports betting sponsors that listen to our podcast 39 minutes in, help us out. But plus 6.5 against a West Virginia team that earlier in the year we would have been absolutely certain we were going to steamroll. West Virginia went in to Houston as 12.5-point dogs and got that win. This is a nightmare. We are in hell, in my opinion. I'll just go ahead and do my prediction. I think we are going to get absolutely blasted by West Virginia, and that is horrible because West Virginia is 1-5 in Big 12 play. They don't even have their original starting quarterback. It is going to be true freshman versus true freshman duel. This is not that I don't believe in Juju. This is I don't believe in anything about this team right now. And I don't think I should have to, based on the performance that's been out there and how much we did believe at the beginning of the season. Topher, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. I also worry about a team that's having so much confidence and is playing at home, and it's going to be shitty weather in Morgantown. So I don't think we win this one, but I do think our offense looks really good. So give me a vibey, like 38-31 loss.
Okay.
It's still not covering, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not covering, but it's vibey, right? Like, you're going to see Juju,
Vibey.
like, make some just stupid throws. You're going to be like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Our defense is going to be basically tissue paper out there, but Juju is going to have some plays.
That would be good. That would be nice.
Vibey.
After what I saw, I mean, that was my final litmus test.
Sreyas had like just full on breakdown, just like we're here for the vibes in shorts, in like 50-degree weather.
I came straight from golf. I was freezing. But oh man, so Arizona was the litmus test, and it was a nightmare. I don't believe anything good is going to happen the rest of the season. I think this is going to be a drubbing. I think it's going to be similar to Arizona, where it's kind of like a pick your score. And I get that West Virginia has struggled for big stretches this year. They also beat Pitt, and I get that's a huge rivalry game. But Pitt is 7-2 in the ACC, and they're in the playoff hunt right now. Same West Virginia team, and they beat Houston.
Is your prediction made better or worse by finding out that they have a true freshman quarterback who ran for 2 touchdowns last week playing against us?
So much worse. I mean, honestly, it was still going to be bad, but so much worse. My God. Like, we're so traumatized by Khalil. We'll be traumatized by Khalil Tate forever.
Not just Khalil Tate, right? Like, even
I'll be in my nursing home on my deathbed, and then Khalil Tate.
and finding out that you're playing a true freshman should be like a blessing, right? For any other team, it is, right? As a Penn State fan, I would love to hear that.
We're in hell. You're in hell as a Penn State fan too, Chase. Don't absolve yourself of that. You chose pain. Actually, no. Pain chose you. Either way, it's going to be like 45-10. It's
wow,
going to be
45-10. That is not a vibey loss.
It's not vibey. Nothing about this is vibey right now.
In my opinion, the best part is that 2 of the friends of the podcast, at least, are going to drive all the way out to Morgantown for this game.
No, they're not. They're still going out there.
Arthur going?
I thought they were.
Oh my God!
We wrote in pen as a win. I mean, we all thought this was, and it should be. It should be. West Virginia is really struggling.
The beginning of the season, I would have bet my kidneys that we won this game.
Yeah, you thought we were going to win 11 games.
11 games. Here's the thing. I still think we have the talent to win 11 games. We just don't have the coaching.
Oh my God!
We don't have the coaching. We don't have the coaching.
Well, let's talk about it. That's a nice transition to our last topic, and I think we should try to keep this short because this is going to be a big off-season topic. So maybe as concisely as you can, Sreyas, you said boldly last week that if we got absolutely boat raced, we need to have a conversation. I will start by just saying very quickly, I am still on board with Coach Prime if he thinks he can come back next year and be our head football coach. And I understand that there's a lot of distractions, and if those distractions are going to be a problem, I hope he takes that into account. But if he thinks he's good to come back, I trust him on that. I'm 100% on board with we have to absolutely overhaul the coordinators. It is very frustrating because it seems like the casual fan base is now, obviously you have Coach Prime only fans that are also just cheering for Colorado right now. And then you have actual Colorado fans, and the vast majority of actual Colorado fans, and then Matt McChesney, who I don't even know what to call him. I know he is a true Colorado fan, but he's always a wild card, right? Yeah. Because he's really just trying to get a job. are already like on the fire prime train, which I'm not there yet.
I don't think he was on the fire prime train. He was just kind of like there needs to be big changes.
Him and JB were pretty like the future of Colorado is gonna face some big changes.
And so that's where I'm at. I don't, Colorado could lose the rest of the season 90-3, and I'd still be on the Coach Prime train. And I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are, if you're still there or if you're ready to get off.
What can you do right now? Like, what good would come of actively choosing to relieve Prime of duties in this coaching cycle? We would be like
James Franklin's unemployed. Just
yeah, I mean this is true. But honestly, with the coaching carousels ending up right now, there's going to be programs that are higher in the totem pole in the grand scheme of things than Colorado that are going to be disappointed in who they end up with. Like Auburn just fired Freeze, which well deserved. That guy's terrible. He's a terrible person, first of all.
I just have to make an aside. The way that initially got broken was he canceled his recurring tea time.
Yeah.
And someone tweeted about it, and someone was like, that must mean they're firing Coach Free. I love the coaching carousel, the rumors, the flight tracking.
Yeah. Oh, the private jet is flying to, this random city that they would otherwise never be flying to. No, this coaching carousel is going to be a nightmare. We can't afford to get involved with it. If we did, we would end up with a Carl Durrell, like similar, or
Cody Hawkins.
Cody Hawkins. Honestly, Cody Hawkins has had some decent success at Idaho State. How are they doing so far?
They're lower tier in the Big Sky this year. They're kind of having a down year.
Okay, maybe not. No, he'd be a perfect fit then. No, but so no. And the thing is, you guys know this. Prime is one of my heroes, man. Finding out that he was coming to Boulder was just a dream. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And the good things that he brought to Boulder, at least in the first 2 years, even though the first year the win-loss record was disappointing, without question. So many good things for the program. So much influx of I'd say positive attention for the school. Getting to go to college game day in Boulder, I honestly wasn't sure if I'd ever get to do that. It was so sick, dude. It was amazing. And just
being the villain. We got to be the villain for once.
We got to be the villain, which is wild, right? It's wild to think about being the villain. Colorado, the CU Buffs that we've known for the last 2 decades being the villain, that is spectacular. Getting 12 million people to watch us get blown out by Oregon instead of the usual 400,000. There's a lot of positive. And no matter what happens, last season was special. And getting to be at that Baylor game and seeing that Hail Mary and then the forced fumble at the goal line. And again, I'll go back. I'll kind of tie this into what I was saying at the beginning. College football to me is so I would not have continued renewing my season tickets if it was just about the game. It's about being part of a community and being with people that you care about, and it's your opportunity to spend time with them, right? I see so many of it's the only time where I see some kids that I went to college with and took classes with, in some cases. And he brought us, him and Shador and Travis and LeJonte and all those guys, they brought us that magic, and always be thankful. Just the same way as the 2016 The Rise is Real, maybe not so real team. And so very thankful for that. The rest of the coaching staff is a disaster. Prime is who he is. We know the good and the bad, and then sometimes the ugly of what he brings to the table. The good outweighs a lot of that as far as a figurehead of a program. If you look at the program as being a corporation, and the head coach being the CEO of that corporation, he has the potential to be that guy. But we're also dealing with a situation now where they were able to keep it quiet, but he was gone for a very long time in the spring, which is obviously a very, very critical time when you're transitioning out a Heisman Trophy winner and a NFL quarterback and one of the best passing quarterbacks you've ever had in your program's history. And clearly the rest of the staff dropped the ball. And some of the antics are, I don't think anyone would disagree with, like the Warren Sapp kicking a pylon over. Come on, dude. What? Why? Like there's no value in doing stupid stuff like that, right? And this is an NFL legend, right? And all these guys like Marshall Faulk on her staff, Warren Sapp. Okay, Domata Peko, not a legend, but he's still a high quality NFL player, including his tenure with the Broncos. And then former NFL head coach is your offensive coordinator, and you wonder how that's possible. If I had to, I'm just droning on and on now, but realistically, like if I'm reading between the lines of what Prime said in the press conference, I think that there's going to be some massive turnover there. And this next time, he really has to get it right. He really does for himself. Now, on the other hand, if he chooses to put his health first at this point, we're probably going to be 3-9 this year. It is what it is. If he chooses to put his health first and step down, and hopefully if that's the decision that he needs to come to, he does it sooner than later, then, hey, we had some fun. And where do we go from here? I don't know. This will be it's going to be kind of right back to where we were in 2022, and who knows if we'll head down the death spiral that I thought we were headed down before we hired him. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But for now, we got to keep him as the CEO, and the CEO needs to pretty much fire the entire board of directors.
Yeah. So Coach Prime came onto the podium yesterday, and he said, "Direct it all at me." And so this next little rant that I've written out, this is all directed at Prime. And the loss in this season is directly and squarely on his shoulders. On your shoulders, yeah.
Topher wrote a Dear John letter that he's
I did.
share
This is how mad I was
at
about
minute
this.
52 of our podcast.
Here we go.
Sreyas and I will be the only people who ever hear this letter.
And Paul, shout out to Paul. But your tenure here, I assess your decision makings, and at this point, keeping your coordinators is a wrong decision, right? Keeping your coordinators after a couple weeks ago was a wrong decision. Hiring your NFL buddies instead of finding college coaches that can teach and develop and adjust, that's an even worse decision. Every single clock management decision is just glaring. Your personnel decisions are questionable, right? Nikhai Hill-Green didn't start for us. Tafik Bayer did not start for us. Colton Hood, who is going to be drafted in the first round, did not start for us. So there's glaring talent assessment issues that you have on your staff. So who else is just sitting on the sideline that we just don't know could be that good? Because I don't know, right? And the thing is, we're not blind. We have access to all 22 film, right? Because of the Buffton Prime channel. Shout out to them for providing that raw all 22 film. Okay, we can see the busted coverages. We can see the stale play calling. We can see how undisciplined this team is, and that leads us to believe one of three things. Number one, you don't see it, and as a head coach, that's unacceptable. Number two, you see it and you allow it, which is also unacceptable. And number three, and worst of all, is this is the way you are coaching it, and that is unforgivable. Okay, so Coach Prime, you're many things. You are one of the best brand ambassadors I've ever seen. You are a great motivator. You are a charismatic leader. But I don't think you're a particularly gifted football coach, right? And in today's game, that's okay. Because as a head coach, you don't need to be an X's and O's guy. You don't need to be the best film guy. You don't need to be the best schemer. But you have to surround yourself with people who are. And from the outside looking in, you hired your NFL friends and assumed competency instead of making them prove it. So that's just comfort. And right now you need to leave in discomfort, and you need to fire all of them. All of them.
Clip it. Dude, preach. I love it. I love that so much. I couldn't agree more. It's like the old adage that people always have, which is, man, why wouldn't you just hire like Todd Helton as the manager of the Rockies? There's such a big difference between being a great player and being able to put together a full roster of multiple different skill sets, most of which you probably never played. And Prime played a lot of positions, right? He played on both sides, including in the Super Bowl. But it is a totally different ballgame. Like Mike Leach, who honestly should be in the College Football Hall of Fame, and hopefully they do him right and give him a waiver for being under the 600 winning percentage.
As a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, I live in Atlanta and have a membership to go as many times as I want. Let me just tell you, I approve. So I'll let my friends at the College Football Hall of Fame know.
Mike Leach did not play college football at all.
He went to law school. He went to law
school. I don't even think he played sports in college. I think he played baseball in high school, if I recall, or some other sport. Or maybe he played football in high school, but he certainly did not play in college. That's not as unusual as you'd think. There's another prominent coach whose name is escaping. I can't remember it. I'll look it up as soon as I'm
Kenny
done
Dillingham
talking.
didn't play college, did he?
Kenny Dillingham did not play college. He was a student at ASU, right? There's another one who I'm thinking of who did play college baseball, but he did not play college football, and he ended up being a pretty good coach. I'll look it up in a second. But either way, like, it goes to show you it's about scheme. And you know what? I bet Paulie would be feeling great right now if he was here, because this is kind of something. This is a drum that he beats all the time. It's like you have a whole generation of kids that are playing Madden, and when you see bad clock management, it makes your brain hurt, because that's like the basic stuff that you do in every Madden game, right? Yeah. I mean, without even thinking about
it. Instinct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got sacked. Timeout. I instantly, just right away.
So that's what it is. That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing a massive collection of talent in terms of on-field accomplishments with these guys. And no one can ever doubt that. There's so many gold jackets. And it's really nice. Like, if you're a player, you want to hear from and be mentored by people of that stature. I mean, last week they had Ray Lewis come and speak to the team. If that doesn't get you motivated, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Motivation's not the issue. Clearly, it's not the issue, right? But you can't be down 38-7 at home against a unranked one conference win Arizona team right after you're down 43-0 on the road against a very good Utah team.
Counterpoint. Turns out you can, in fact, do that.
You can.
But if you do, things need to change.
Gentlemen, I'm manifesting. Pat Shurmur's going to get fired this week, and I'd like to introduce you to my dream candidate for offensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffaloes next year. And he happened to be in Colorado on Saturday, where he absolutely beat the hell out of the UNC Bears. It is the current offensive coordinator for the Montana State Bobcats, who was the former head coach at the Colorado School of Mines just down the road in Boulder. While he was there, he averaged 44 points per game, 497 yards per game, 97% red zone efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Pete Sturbick. And you know why? He's going to be coming from an FCS school, so I guarantee you we could offer him less than the $850,000 we're paying Pat Shurmur this year.
Yikes. Yeah, no. Very interesting. I'll have to go back and watch some of the games. By the way, coach I was thinking of was Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes played baseball at Texas Tech. Did not play football. And he's been pretty successful. I mean, not bad. I know they lost 65-7, but you made it to a national championship game. That's impressive, no matter how you cut it. So he's had some success in his career. So I respect it. It just goes to show there's different ways to get there. And honestly, like, look at UCLA. Rick Neuheisel's kid. He's lit it up there. And I get that Indiana, put a beating on them, but still, like, that's
no match to Signetti.
Yeah, no. I don't think anyone. He is.
He said, "Hey,
Penn
calm
State gets
down,
to
young
play
gun."
them next week. By the way, can't wait for that.
Oh boy.
Actually, I can wait for that.
Kurt Signetti is on a different level. Like, wow, what he's done at Indiana. When you consider that Indiana was basically what CU was, like, we were all part of the bottom feeder crew.
What could have been?
Oh man, wow! Like, that is And he's such a late bloomer too. He's like in his mid-60s already, and this is his first Power 4 gig. So again, it makes you wonder what diamonds in the rough there might be. Having a Dillingham style where it's just someone that knows the X's and O's super well and has so much energy and passion for the school and in Colorado, that would be great. But we're not looking for a head coach, right? So yeah, we'll have to see what comes. Dillingham was a great offensive coordinator, though, so maybe there's someone out there. Hey, if you know anyone out there that wants to be a offensive coordinator, you better start throwing some names out there. I know Topher did just now.
Hashtag Pete Sturbick. All right. I think that's all we have for this week. So subscribe, interact with our Twitter. Hopefully we come with a happier podcast next Sunday.
Probably not.
Probably not, but let's be optimists. So always, Sco Buffs.
Sco Buffs, baby.
Buffs.